On the first day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the second day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with the witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the third day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the fourth day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the fifth day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the sixth day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the seventh day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the eighth day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the ninth day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with vampires seeking, mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the 10th day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with demons chanting, vampires seeking, mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the 11th day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with the creepers, jeepers, scarecrow, demons chanting, vampires seeking, mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the 12th day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers stalking me, creepers, jeepers, scarecrow, demons chanting, vampires seeking, mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl. On the 13th day of All Hallows Eve, Dracula scared my soul with dreams of Freddy Krueger coming for me, Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers stalking me, creepers, jeepers, scarecrow, demons chanting, vampires seeking, mummies mumbling, zombies, gibberish, werewolves a howling, ghosts whispering, skulls chomping, pumpkins talking, witches' scrolls and screaming banshees in a punch bowl.
All right, Teddy. There's a different opening, a little bit different music, but of course now it is a special holiday edition of Road Trip After Hours. I'm your host, Mac Davis, and that, of course, is WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Teddy Long. How you doing, Teddy?
I'm doing just great, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna have to apologize to you for all the bad things I've said about you for the music. This was great tonight, that opening, that music and everything. I thought was outstanding. So if you could just keep that up, we could get along.
Now, I got to tell you something. I found a place where you can find music that you can use that is not been on the radio charts anywhere. This is just independent music, or it's made by, of all things, artificial intelligence. That's not the case on this one. But man, I gotta tell you, I was surprised. I was because all day long after I put that video together, that song was bouncing in my head. It's something catchy about it. I wish it were more of a just a traditional thing that we could use all the time. But while I'm saying that, I did receive, and I don't want to say who or anything else much more other than I did receive a special song made for you and I for this radio show or for this podcast.
This is
And
not a radio show. What are you doing?
hey, look, man, it is oh, it's hard to get rid of
I
those
don't know
old
what's going
habits.
on with you. There's something seem to be happening to you every week. I don't know what it is.
It's working with you. Let me ask you, Teddy. This is a Halloween edition of Road Trip After Hours in professional wrestling. And those of you who are watching right now, I want you to chime in too, if you don't mind. Who were the best monsters or scary individuals in professional wrestling? Teddy?
I have to say Abdullah the Butcher was one of them.
Yes.
Golly, man, it was just
And
what.
Abby was a little bit different than like what today's scary kind of characters are. Back in his time, you really didn't know about Abby. You kind of believed this guy was nuts, and even like
Well,
Bruiser Brody, another person that was that way. You weren't sure if it was his head screwed on all the way. You weren't sure.
and those guys
And
would never tell you nothing. You know what I
no,
mean? They just come straight out and attack you out of the blue. So you with them, you got to be ready for whatever coming.
yeah, I've heard stories too that even the wrestlers in the back, on TV taping days, if they found out Abby was going to be who they were in the ring with, they would pack their stuff up and go. They would not stay for to do the match because Abby was known to be, he
Oh,
was,
he was stiff.
yeah, man, he was. That's about the best way to put it. Any
Yeah.
other monsters you can think of, Teddy, that made an impact on you? I know for a lot of people who are watching, they're going to immediately go to The Undertaker, because that was so hot during the Attitude Era and everything else. But I really wonder if there's even scarier people than him that were in professional wrestling. Anything that comes to mind for you?
No, not right offhand. I don't. Golly, there was one other guy there that I think he started in the WWF. Another guy. Golly.
There's one here that Dave Crone is throwing at us, and he's saying the missing link.
I remember him. He wasn't real scary. Well, to me. Okay, yeah, don't let me discredit him, but yeah, I remember him. In fact, he was running a gym in Charlotte for Steamboat, and I went and worked out there.
And there was the Samoans back in the early days when they didn't say anything. I mean, they just came to the headhunters and stuff like that. That we were still living in a time where you could almost believe that was legit and these guys were crazy like that, and I think that's why we were probably more prone to think so about the older days than the new days, because in today's age, you get it. You know what I mean? Back then, you didn't get it. There wasn't social media. All you got were, pictures that people may share, or the magazines where you see Abby bleeding everywhere and all his opponents. That was, you'd go to a match, you didn't want to get around him because you were afraid you might get hurt too.
Well,
That
but
doesn't exist much.
if you got in his way, you'd get hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Zach Minger saying National Candy Corn Day, Mac and Teddy. Hey, Zach, good to have you in here and back at you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm sick of that doggone candy corn. I did get some of that from Public. Jesus, I'm just burnt out on it.
You know what? I love candy corn, but it's one of
I do
those.
too.
It's one of those things that if you eat too much, it will make your stomach hurt a little bit. So you can only eat it in little portions. And I'm not that way. If I eat a bag of candy corn, I'm eating a bag of candy corn. So
Yeah.
that's just how I am. Another name that came up here from Jesse Wilkes. Hey, Jesse, good to see you. Viscera always creeped me out for some reason, he says.
Well, Viscera was the real deal.
I know
But
the story before, Teddy, about Viscera, but I don't think we've done it on the live show. But he asked you to get him something, or you gave him something, and there was an experience with that. Can you tell that?
why are you making me do
Go ahead,
Well,
Teddy.
so Back that was a time after, I was I'd been selling Viagra to the guys, and so we went to, I'd been to wrestler's court. I had me in court, everything. I lost my case in court, so I was having to buy chicken and beer and some other stuff for at least a month. I had to pay much as well. I was paying my fine. So Viscera, so now the way I'm trying to pay my fine is I'm trying to, keep hustling. Okay. So Viscera, I told him about it, and I told him, I turned him on to it. So about let's see, about 3 hours or so later, he comes and he finds me. And he says to me, he says, "Hey," he said, "I looked down there. Who does that belong to? Who's that?" Oh, he was. Oh yeah, he said he had never seen that before. He said, "Yeah, oh yeah, oh
Oh
yeah."
man. Oh
Oh, so
gosh.
but I had a loyal customer.
Let's see. Here's the question that kind of came out of nowhere, and I almost skipped over it. Dave Crone saying, "Was Jim Ross racist, Teddy?"
Well, I never had no problem with Jim Ross. You know what I mean? I mean, you heard different things from different people. So I always say, we're all racist. Is that when we take the word evil and we mix that with racism, then that's what makes it bad. But we all racist. I mean, I got neighbors. I don't really, I cared for them because they didn't, I could tell they didn't want to be bothered with me, but we didn't cause nobody no harm. I would know they're trying to destroy their property. They wouldn't know they're trying to destroy mine. We just stayed away from each other. We didn't say nothing to each other, and that was fine with me. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I've always said this, and and people, I get a lot of hell for this too. Uh, People ask, "How do you work with so and so?" or how do you deal with this person? My experiences with an individual is what I judge them by. Period. I don't care what may have happened between Joe Blow and him as well. As long as that's not happening with me, they're good as gold. Once they screw me, there's a whole different story. But I judge people on what I see and what I receive. Wouldn't you say that's about the best way to go, Teddy? I
Well,
mean,
like I always tell you, I always pay attention what people do for me that they didn't have to do.
yep, yep,
That's when you know it's real. Okay, because I've had another white person come to me and tell me something about another white person, and I know that wasn't supposed to happen. So but he knew that I was, something was wrong there, and
yep.
he just came to smarten me up about it. And so that's who I paid attention to, a guy that came and told me something that he didn't have to tell me.
Yeah, I think too a lot of times that we throw the word racist out there a little bit too freely for a lot of people. This is one of those cases. I'm sure that Jim has probably done or said something that somebody took the wrong way, and maybe rightfully so. But like you say, Teddy, haven't we all done something stupid that we're all guilty of this, that, or the other? And it's the truth.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dave Crone again. Sting versus Vampiro graveyard match. I don't remember that match. I remember they worked together for a very brief time. And I think it was more that Sting just didn't feel like it was working between the two of them. He didn't feel he was an easy dance partner. Let's put it that way. Let's see. We have Playa. Teddy, you have your own YouTube page called Playa because your picture is right there.
No, I don't have that. That's not that's somebody, that's a fake page there.
Well, it's that, or he's just acknowledging the Mr. Teddy Long because he's saying,
Okay.
Teddy, just checking in to say I'm a huge fan. Much love, Playa.
Hey, thank you. Much love to you, player.
Let's see what else we got here. This thing's moving rather slow. I don't know if it's me. No. Hang on. I don't want to do something, so I want to try to get back out of that.
No, don't
Pretty
get me.
classy lady saying, "Hey."
All right. How is she doing today? Good to see you. Well, good to have you with us.
Pretty classy lady, you got to tell me whereabouts are you from? I'm curious because you've said a couple of things on here that had me kind of scratch my head and think, do I know this person? Yeah, you just give us at least a region or something, that we know where you're from. Mission.
He's flirting pretty classy lady. I can tell you what he's doing right now.
Mission with hello, Teddy and Mac from Houston, and man, I hope
Yeah, that's
you.
John Smith. You know my man there, him and his son with the podcast that we did.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
I do
man.
remember. Yeah, and I hope things are still going well there for him. And by the way, if you want to be a part of the program, we haven't even had a chance to say this. All you got to do is leave a message in the chat room. We'll throw it up on the screen, and boom, you're a part of the program. But in the meantime, we do have to step away. You know, there's been a lot of talk about shoes in WWE. Here's the latest.
Letters, oh we get letters, we get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
This Teddy's favorite part of the program is always going inside the mailbag where we get to ask Teddy. And Teddy, let's see. Our first question is from Otto in Michigan, who asked, "What was the best rib you ever witnessed?" It's not saying you were a part of, just one that you've witnessed.
Oh, okay. This one was really good. It was one night I was managing Butch and Run. They were a tag team Doom. So the rib was on Butch Reed. Okay, so I was part of the rib, and the reason they made me part
Okay,
of the
hold on. I want for those who may not know Butch Reed. Butch Reed was he was a very real guy, and he's not somebody that I would first think to myself, "Let's play a rib on Butch Reed." That's not somebody you would do that with. So somebody actually had the balls to do a rib on Butch Reed.
well, God rest Butch's soul, but the rib came because they threatened me. Either I was gonna get beat up, or if I didn't go and pull the rib on Butch, or they were gonna pull it and they were gonna tell him it was all my idea.
Oh no! So either way, you're screwed.
Right. So they made me go tell Butch after we had just got through working. Okay, Butch had took a shower and had put on all his clothes, cologne, and everything. He's ready to go. So I went up to Butch and told him it's that the main event must have been a tag. Somebody got hurt there, and they said that we're gonna have to work again. So Butch, he looks at me, he says, "You shitting me?" I said, "Not the Butch. I said, I'm telling you, man, they said we got to
Oh,
work again." So
oh,
now he takes off all of his clothes now after he done showered and everything. So he gets back into his, make a long story short, he gets back into his wrestling gear, and he starts to taping up his arms and everything. And that's when somebody run in and told, "Oh, wait, Butch, you don't have to work now. The guy came," or something they said.
oh. Okay, so I got to ask you this, Teddy, because, like I said, Butch is not somebody that you want to play with like that.
I took off.
You already knew what the next question
I took
was.
off.
How
took
long
off.
before I mean, you had to face him sooner or later. What happened?
Oh, he's died. I didn't see him till the next day, because I think I wouldn't ride. I wouldn't ride with him and run. Then I think I was with something. I don't know, but anyway, he come at me the next day too about it. I'm like, "Butch, man, I wouldn't have did that, man. They told me they was gonna beat me up if I wouldn't do what they say, man." So
Wait, did he ever get back? By the way, who was ribbing him? Can you say that?
yeah, those Steiners.
Oh, well, yeah. Now, yeah. Wait,
So
if somebody's going to mess with Butch, it would have to be the Steiners because they're going to have
yeah,
to be able to back up that rib a little bit. So yeah.
and you got to do what they said. Or if you don't, then you become the culprit. Yeah, you're next in line.
Yeah, that's not something you want. Jesse Wilkes, Mackin, laughing his ass off. Yeah, I'm macking it here. Yeah. And Mijan also saying, we won Best Sports Podcast in Detroit. That's great news. Great news.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
congratulations, you guys. Great to hear that.
Let's see. Monkey Mania is running wild. And let's see what else we got. Oh, pretty classy lady. She's answering that question. I'm from Atlanta, but it's funny because my mom has family in Dublin. You might be my kinfolk, Mac. Who knows? No, I mean, one thing that a lot of people are not aware of is that Teddy and I, when we
no,
go
no,
to
no, no,
shows,
no, no, ain't no Teddy and I. It's just you.
yeah. When I go to shows and Teddy and I are at a table, if Teddy steps away, I always tell people, well, I'm his twin brother. Well, how can I help you? And some people aren't quite sure how to take that because I'll be serious about it too. It's like,
Yeah,
he's my twin brother.
yeah. He really is serious too.
Yeah, all the time. Let's see. The Natural. Dave Crone, The Natural. What about The Natural? I guess you
The
also
natural Butch Reed. That's what.
Oh, okay. Yeah, The Natural Butch Reed. You're right. Yeah. Let's see. And he was a real cowboy too, wasn't he, Teddy?
Yeah.
I mean, he was the
He
real thing.
he rode a horse up in Rufus R. Jones' bar.
Let's see. Ms. John asking Teddy, what was your favorite match that you refed?
Oh, I don't know, man. I had a lot of matches, maybe because basically I was the only referee. So, I worked so many. But basically, I enjoyed working with the horsemen. Those were guys that made you work. You couldn't play around. Working with the Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, refereeing them. Those guys were another great team to work with. Just so many people back then, that would work, good workers, and you had a chance to work, not only work with them, you had a chance to learn from them. That's the main thing you want to do is learn. So, I had the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time.
And it was funny because I've told Teddy this before. I remember Teddy really more so from WCW days and the NWA back when he was over there, because I remember his face in the matches and some of the big matches that took place with some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. And that's where I first knew Teddy. He was a referee, and then he became the manager, and then he got over to SmackDown, became, the longest reigning general manager. And to me, the climb from where you came from, Teddy, when you and even before that, even before you started way back in the NWA,
Yeah.
being a referee, you were moving a ring around, traveling, putting up the ring, doing whatever you had to do. That's impressive as hell. And it's cool to me to be able to say I've seen the lifespan of your career because I grew up during that time to watch it happen. And that's one of the things. And like I said, I've told Teddy before, I'm highly impressed by what he's been able to do in this business. And he earned every freaking bit of it too. Anybody that tries to say he didn't earn something, go screw yourself. He's earned everything he's ever gotten. Let's see.
To think, that they're mad at me for doing my job.
Yes. Yosef saying, hey, Yosef, good to see you, man. He says, hey, Mac, I'm here because of Bro Down. Yeah, man, any of you guys that are popping over here on a Thursday night with us that have switched over to Road Trip After Hours on YouTube, much appreciate that. In fact, we ask that you do that. Share this around. Ask people to subscribe and hit the notification button. We're trying to grow this channel, and we have moved from Sportskeeda because they closed down that particular side of their business in a streamlined effort for the company. And because of that, Teddy and I are trying to grow this channel a little bit more and make it more accessible to more people. And as a matter of fact, Bill Apter, who used to work with us on Sportskeeda, he'll be popping over here every once in a while. You can ask him questions as well from the heyday of the Apter mags and Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Inside Wrestling, all those great mags from that time. Let's see. We got a few more things in here. I'm trying. We got a lot of people in here. We certainly appreciate that too, by the way. We have Dave saying we miss you guys in St. Louis. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to getting back over there. I really am. St. Louis is a great place to go, especially for wrestling. He also saying, what happened to the jobbers the Skyscrapers beat up after the show in the dressing room.
No, they didn't beat him up in the dressing room. They beat him up in the ring. It took place in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to. Well, it basically just was only one guy. This one guy just just being an asshole. So they had to let him know, no, this is the real way tonight.
Wasn't it over? They weren't selling. Isn't that what it was?
Wasn't selling and just clowning around, man. Just you know what I mean. Just wasn't taking it serious.
Yeah, there's only been a couple of times in wrestling and independent wrestling for me that I had the person wasn't. They weren't bumping. They weren't reacting like they should be. And I would lay something in, to make it look real, and it was real. But more times than not, you shouldn't have to do that.
Well, you have to protect yourself. If somebody out there that's gonna make you making you look like a clown in the ring, then you have to do what you got to do. Protect yourself at all times.
Let's see. We have Joseph Bruin in here saying good evening. Hey, Joseph, thank you for coming into the room. We appreciate that. Also, let's see, Joseph, do you and Teddy think Russo will make JCW like Attitude Era, especially Teddy being ref in 99 Russo era? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but I will say this. I know that Vince Russo is going over to Juggalo Championship Wrestling, and he is doing some writing for that group over there. I think it's a good blend. I think these, him and that company could blend very well. Time will tell. We'll see. I hope so. I hope so for everybody involved. Teddy, anything you want to say on that?
No, I don't even know anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't think you did, but yeah. Let's see, Playa. It's weird for me to look at somebody that has your picture on it. Teddy, we need a WWE draft soon. They got to call you up to sort those rosters. I don't think that's going to help them. I think they need to get Teddy there for the actual job of running something, because that's what's going to help in the end. Teddy loved you. This is from Yosef. Teddy loved you as a WWE ref. Then you and Mac, that theme song hit so hard, Teddy. You were the best GM ever in WWF history. Holla, holla, holla.
Well, thank you very much. And holla, holla, holla back to you, player.
Dave saying, Teddy's a legend. I'm 51. Been watching him since elementary school in the little studio. Yeah, man. Those were good days. I don't know why, but I look more fondly on those days of wrestling than I do any other time, even more so than the Attitude Era. And I think it's because it was that sweet spot when I first fell in love with the sport of professional wrestling. And I think that's always going to be that era that I love so much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Plot Twist Jones, hope all is well. Super Lost Day. Look, I hope I don't know what that means. Lost Day? Lost? And let's see, pretty classy lady Mac, what are you dressing up for as Halloween? A ghost. My lights will be off in the front porch. I'll have no candy waiting for little kids when they come by. I'm going to have the door locked and the dog on the front porch to scare them away if they try to even to attempt. No.
Wow.
No, I'm just teasing.
You're not. You're a Scrooge. I'm telling you right now. You're a real live Scrooge. I'm telling you.
I want to tell you something. This is the honest truth. We haven't had trick-or-treaters come by the house. I
don't blame them.
Well, no, it's just all the kids around here are grown up and there's nobody young anymore that comes around trick-or-treating. And I miss that, because I did enjoy being at the front door, looking at the little kids dress up and come up and get to talk to them. I did enjoy that. And even my grandbabies, they don't have that much. Like years ago, you could just about go to any neighborhood and go trick-or-treating. Well, nowadays you got to go to a festival somewhere that's a little bit safer where you can get those candies, the trunkin treats and those kind of things. And that's sad, because I enjoyed the days of Halloween when I was a kid, and I got to go house to house, ring doorbells. It was nighttime. It was a little bit spooky, but it was a lot of fun. And unless you were a real troublemaker, you should have done well and got a lot of free candy in the process too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did.
Oh man, well, yeah, and I bet you got a lot of donuts too at that time. You probably got donuts when you were growing up.
They didn't even make donuts then.
Oh, they made donuts when you were a kid.
No, they did
Jeez.
not. I've never
Oh,
heard of a
oh, I
donut.
forgot. You're right because they didn't make the wheel yet at that
That's
point.
right.
Yeah, Reggie B. Fine. What's up, Theodore? Alone. How are you doing, sir? Reggie
Hey,
B.
Reggie
Fine
B.
here.
Fine. You know him. He's out of Memphis. He
I
worked
do.
with Lawler and them for many, many years, man.
Yeah, brother.
What a great guy, man. Reggie, good to hear from you, player. Glad to know you're still kicking. And yeah, man, just thanks for checking in with us.
Yeah, man. Always good to have you through here. And Yosef saying, Teddy, what would you do if Triple H made you booker or creative? Could you turn it around? WWE is like 94 to 96. WWF, New Generation era was okay.
No, I'm not gonna answer that question because that ain't gonna ever happen.
Yeah.
So ain't no use of me even trying to figure out what I would do because that ain't gonna ever happen.
No. All right, let's see. 40 Chris is in here. I always hit up the house with a cooler out front. Uh, you always hit up the house. Oh, yeah, with the cooler out front. Yeah, you just go up and grab as much as you want. Yeah, a lot of people did that. And by the time I got there was no candy left. But Teddy, that's it, man. We've actually gotten out of time. I'm trying to see if there's another couple questions I can throw in here real quick. Yeah, I do want to get one in here because this came through our podcast channel. I didn't know we had mail we could get there, and I found some mail in there. Christian from Buzz Sprout, your thoughts on the Mexicools and what happened to Juventud Guerrera's run in WWE? Do you ever see him coming back and maybe wrestling Rey Mysterio one day?
No, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? I think Ray is pretty, I can't really speak for Ray, but Ray to me knows that he's had a tremendous, outstanding career. And I think Ray's about ready to try to, and try to enjoy the rest of his life. And so, like I said, with Juventud, I mean, I just don't see it.
What was Juventud? Did you get to work with him at all? I mean, did you?
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I
was
was
he?
in WCW when they first come in. Conan brought them in.
Was he difficult by any? I mean, because
No,
we didn't really see much after WCW. You really just didn't seem like you did at one time, and I thought was a great talent.
yeah, he was all right. Like I said, there were who was I just speaking about? Conan.
Yeah,
They worked for him, and Conan was like the booker. He brought the guys in from Mexico, so he was one of Conan's guys.
yeah, and that was one of those situations where Conan really helped out a group a great deal, much like what was the L.A. Oh, and TNA. Oh, God, I can't remember right now, but he had a group there too that he put together. Conan, again, he's one of those guys that is legit. When you talk to him, he's serious about, professional wrestling. It's not a joke to him. It's a job. It's serious. It's something that he takes to heart. And so a guy like him is only helping these young guys, and he's helped out a couple of groups of guys when it came to tag team wrestling that were just outstanding.
Yeah.
And I wish I could remember what the name of the one in TNA was. If anybody knows of, throw it up there real quick. We got Terry Donahue in here saying, fellas, hey, brother, good to see you in here. And let's see, the Australia trip, C-Dub. Okay. LAX. Yes, thank you, C-Dub. I appreciate that. It was Conan's group in TNA. It was LAX. Yeah, I thought that was an incredible group of guys when that came along, and that had a lot to do with Conan.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a couple more things in here real fast, Teddy. We're going to go over just a few minutes here. Bernard in Florida writes, who is or was the most underrated female star in professional wrestling?
Wow.
I can think of somebody off the top of my head.
Probably Molly Holly.
She was extremely talented, but do
Yeah.
you think that maybe it was the inability to really be charismatic on camera and with a microphone that held her back?
Well, no, I don't. I think it's the way that they were trying to use her. You know what I mean? I think, she may have had something to do, with how she wanted to be used on the TV. Well, she's a woman, so she has the right to question that. But I always thought she was great, and she could good promos and stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I felt like she was just underused, underrated. they didn't give her what I thought she deserved.
And such a sweet individual.
Yeah, man.
I
Yes,
mean, good to the core. I mean, just how she is.
yes,
Um,
yes, she was.
let's see. We have Renee Adams popping in and saying, "Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Doing
We
great,
doing all
Renee."
right, man. Hanging in here, player.
All right, we are at that time, Teddy, where we do have to ask. I'm not going to get into name association. I'll save that for the following show. But let me ask you from tonight, any of the questions you want to pull for the question of the night?
Uh, Golly, man, we had so many good ones there.
By the
I
way, I
tell you
do want
what.
to. While you're thinking of that, let me mention that Chris C Dub is in here and saying Crystal for marrying Teddy. Molly was great. I love me some Alicia Fox.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but
He's
don't
talking
give me.
about the most about the ladies, the most underrated, female wrestlers. Another name too, by the way, Teddy. While we're talking about that, Jazz is one of those I don't feel ever got what she should have when it came to professional wrestling in
Yes.
WWE. That's somebody that first comes to mind, and that's just because she's from an era that I remember, and I know how important she was in the development not only of herself but so many other superstars like Trish Stratus and the other girls to make them look the way they looked. It took somebody like Jazz that could do that with them, and
Yeah.
so I think she's probably one of those that's the most underrated I can think of.
Well, I don't know whoever that was, but tell them to quit bringing that name up, Crystal. I keep getting in trouble.
Do you really? What? Okay, now I'm going to ask you. Why do you? Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I
Oh,
already
boy.
told you this story.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you tell me again. All right, Teddy, tell me. Poor Denise. Let's see. Bless her little heart.
I'm
I
looking
love.
forward to seeing Denise going, for Thanksgiving, the holiday. I think, Thanksgiving, Christmas, man. I think people, if you got a family or somebody close to you, I think that's the time you all should come together. Even if you don't like the person, just come together as one and just make that a special day. So to be with Denise during that holiday, that's going to be a real special day for me.
Teddy, I'm going to take the pick from you. Can I pick somebody tonight?
Yeah.
I got somebody because when we talked about this question, I thought was one of the better stories of the entire time that we've been here. Was in the beginning of the show when Otto had asked you what was the best rib that you had ever witnessed. I like the story that we got behind that, and you told us about Butch Reed. So if you missed that, go back and watch the beginning of the video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So Otto in Michigan, I got your information. I'll send you a T-shirt, and all we ask is that you get a picture and send it back so we can see what it looks like on you. We'll throw it up on the screen. All right, let's see if there's anything else before I get out of here. Yeah, there is another one in here. And that is Terry Donahue. Jazz worked men in ECW that made her look much stronger than the boys there. Yeah, because she was legit.
Right. She was much stronger than the boys there.
Yeah. It's just how it was. Teddy, I've enjoyed it. Have fun on Halloween. Hopefully you won't go around knocking on doors asking for candy.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, but we know you will.
That's
So.
right. I cannot be trusted.
I want to go out there in the bushes and jump out when the little kids come up on the walkway. So.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Just evil.
All right, we're out of here. We'll see you again next week, 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. We do this live every Thursday night, and we might have a special guest next week. So stick around, and we'll have somebody you might be able to ask questions to along with Teddy.